Okay, so I don't do this often, but I figure someone might as well do it sooner or later and kind of put their own analysis in and see what happens here now. Being a really huge Lamb of God fan, and saying that because they're pretty much my favorite metal band to date, hasn't changed for the past few years, and I don't think it's going to change for the next few years. That being said, I understand that that perhaps provides me with a bit of a bias with regards to the situation of Randy Blythe's arrest, the charges involving manslaughter, um, and of course the alleged video that's proof of his, shall we say, illegal actions. Now, it's funny to mention that, if you watch the video a couple of times, the first couple of times you'll watch the video and you'll see, oh, okay, well, it looks like he's kind of throwing the fan off stage, if you're just looking at him. That being said, there's a security guard behind him who has a greater grasp of the fan in question with both arms, and he's essentially running the fan off the stage. In other words, he's got him by both hands. He's using a running force and momentum to propel the fan off the stage. All that Randy's doing is he's just kind of waving his arm and guiding him off the stage. And I've seen singers at countless shows do that to other fans, and 9 times out of 10, the fan lands on top of the crowd. The crowd will pick up the fan and carry them, for a little bit, and kind of just lead them down to safety as time passes. Now, there's no footage of that happening to this fan, but I don't think the story should end there. See, there are no witnesses and there's no proof, as far as we can tell, of what this fan did both prior and post-show. Before the show, did something happen to him where, I don't know, maybe he slipped and fell? Or did that happen after the show? Or did he get a little too wild while he was in the crowd after the incident in question where, he got propelled off the stage and whatever happened? Maybe he did, fall down and hit his head. Well, okay, well, why aren't we talking about the security guard that threw him off the stage? Why aren't we talking about the people at the show that didn't hold the guy up stage when he fell off the stage? Did they have a hand in actually propelling him to the ground further, leading to his, his sustained injuries that essentially led to his, his eventual coma and unfortunate passing on? I mean no disrespect to that fan, but to any fan of any genre of music that goes to a concert, if you're willing to take the chance to jump up on stage and interrupt people that are working, people that are essentially trying to make a living, and you're going to jump up on the stage and try to interact with them and distract them and make them perform a little bit less on par with what they otherwise could have, and then something happens where you get thrown off the stage, or you sustain some kind of injury, whatever happens, it's a chance that you're taking, and you should be able to, buck up and accept the fact that you're taking a risk. And that's what this kid did. Okay, yeah, he was 19 years old, he passed on, he was very young, it's very sad, these things happen in life, but we don't know for sure whether or not, the security guard's actions, or Randy Blythe's actions, or any of the fans at the venue at that particular moment had anything to do with what happened to this kid. Was there a pre-existing condition that this kid had that we don't know about? And as, the people involved in the upper management of the band have said, they had not been contacted neither prior nor after the fan had passed away. And I think that's another telltale sign too, that somebody is going after Randy Blythe for a specific reason. There's some kind of personal vendetta going on, and the fact that this is going on 2 years after it happened, it's like, what are you going to do now? Are you going to try to exhume the body to try and find any kind of signs of trauma that may or may not have been inflicted? It's an absolutely absurd situation, and anybody that thinks that Randy Blythe is wholly responsible for this person's passing as sad as it may be, is purely delusional. I'm sorry to say. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Sorry. I think the charges should simply be dropped, and this situation should simply be forgotten. And this should, I guess, sorry to say, Czech Republic, but I would not be surprised if once Lamb of God packs up and comes back home to the United States of America, um, they're not going to go back and play any more shows over there, because that is not proper hospitality. The guy shows up at the airport and you just arrest him. Oh yeah, you may or may not have killed somebody indirectly 2 or 3 years ago, so we're going to arrest you and we're going to investigate this 2 years after the incident. Like, what kind of justice system does that? That just doesn't make any sense. And shame on whatever government and, judiciary system would allow that to happen. It's just absolutely absurd. So that's just my 2 cents. I think this video and this entire situation is bogus, and I think essentially this is an attack, a social attack on heavy metal culture in general, and they're just using this isolated incident as an excuse to bring down a really big fan base and a really big metal band in heavy metal culture. And I just think it's just terrible that here we are in 2012 and we're still dealing with this whole, oh, heavy metal concerts are too violent, we should get rid of them because people are dying at them. I mean, this is an isolated incident, people. Get over it, get freaking real, and realize that, regardless of how sad the fact is that this kid died at 19 years old because of, something that may or may not have affected him directly at a heavy metal concert, it's not Randy Blythe's fault. It may not even be the security guard's fault. And the fact that he wound up in a coma and unfortunately passed on may or may not have anything to do with the fact that he went to that concert at all. I mean, maybe he hit his head a few days prior, and maybe there was an embolism involved. I mean, nobody's brought forth any kind of medical records to state this. So, I mean, there's so many variables in this situation that are not privy to the people involved, both from the victim standing point and the and from the accused standing point. So I think this should just be dropped and hope for the best, eh? So everybody out there who's following this situation, stay metal, stay strong, and don't let all these naysayers kind of bring you down, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing wrong in supporting Randy Blythe in this situation as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people are concerned. So yeah, take it easy.